So, right now in my life, I have a handful of people that I'm fervently, actively praying for. Some are friends, one is an acquaintance, and some are even family members. And to provide a little bit of context of why I'm daily actively praying for them, one of these people, who is younger than me, has needed a new pacemaker implanted within him, and I've been praying about that. Another, who is around my age, is currently in hospice care due to the growth of a brain tumor. Another, who again is a family member and is around my age, is on a heart transplant list, eagerly waiting in a hospital for that life-giving call to come. And another, also a family member, has been fighting lung cancer and now is in hospice care. And when I pray for these people, I pray for comfort, peace, a sense of hope, and yes, sometimes I ask God for healing. Now, do I expect healing? Well, yes, but not in an immediate, instant fix kind of way. I pray that God will give them what they need day by day, minute by minute. Now, do they need health? Do they need healing? Well, yes, of course. I'm certain that each one of them wants to be healed in a physical, tangible, immediate way. I'm sure that they want to live longer than they may expect to. But because we live in a finite world and we exist in finite bodies, I'm not always sure if God's intent is to miraculously take away a disease. But in the book of James, we hear today a call to prayer, a call to faith, a call to confession, and a call for the community of God, that's all of us, to step up when someone needs care and compassion. But just so we don't become mistaken, let me clarify what I believe about God and about healing and about faith. I believe that God walks with us in every circumstance of life, in times of good health and especially in times of poor health. I believe when life gives us more than we can handle, that God doesn't always provide instant relief, but God does provide a community of people who can be the hands and feet of care and compassion to those who need love and healing. But this text today in the book of James, it almost sounds too simplistic, doesn't it? It seems as though if someone is sick, if someone is dealing with a terrible illness, that all they need to do is pray about it, have faith. And I don't know about you, but I believe that life is a lot more complex than that. I have faith in God, but I'm also very confused at times by the teachings of James. I have faith in God, but I don't look to God for easy, instant fixes. I have faith in God, but I know that even Jesus suffered pain and death. So then, how should we view these words and teachings in the book of James? Can we be willing to look beyond the confines of this text and see a deeper calling for what it means to be the community of God? Because if you're asking me if I believe the prayer of faith will save the sick, as James says, well, I'm not sure how to interpret that. But if you're asking me if I believe that illness and disease often cause people to feel shame and to feel cut off from their community, then I'd say yes, I definitely believe that. Do I believe that having enough faith will give a person physical healing? I'm not sure that I believe that. But do I believe that prayer is powerful and that reconciliation to God and to one's own community is important? Well, yes, I definitely believe that. So James is a book in which we need to dig deeper. Like so much, I think, about faith, we need to be able to go past the surface to be able to see the heart of God. Because ultimately, these teachings today aren't just speaking to instant fixes and immediate healings. No, this isn't simplistic, naive faith that we hear today. This is about being restored to community. This is about being able to be vulnerable. This is about asking for help. And it's also a calling to all of us, the community of God, to be the tangible, physical presence of God in this world to everyone who is being disconnected from that community. And why? Because things like illness, shame, guilt, wrongdoing, mistakes, misjudgments, sin, all of these things can separate someone from a loving community. Illness, especially in these COVID times, can isolate people at a time when they need love and care the most. And maybe we do go out and anoint someone with oil, as James says, but maybe we can also anoint them with our presence and our love and our empathy. So what does being this community of God really look like today? That's the dilemma that I still have. How do we take the words of James about being the community of God to helping people who suffer? How do we take that off the page and live it out? What does being the community of God really look like today? Well, to answer that, I'm going to do what I often do, and I'm going to show you a movie clip today. This clip is from a 2016 independent film called Other People. I saw it a few weeks ago. It has Jesse Plemons and Molly Shannon in it. It is wonderful. And the plot of the movie is about a young comedy writer in New York who has to move back home to take care of his mother, who happens to be dying from a rare form of cancer. Let's take a look.
You're okay. It's okay. You're okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're scared. You're okay. I feel so embarrassed. It happens. I'm embarrassed. Don't be. The wedding, they saw me, and they felt bad for me. I got so confused. I don't want to do this anymore. I hate that this is happening to you. I'm tired. I don't want you to think I'm giving up. No, if it's time for you to rest, we want you to rest. I tried so hard. I know you did. Thank you for coming here. It's so nice of you to come here. I know it's hard for you. I really appreciate it. Paul and I broke up. I know. It's okay. I didn't get that show. But I promise I'm gonna be okay. You don't have to worry about me. Don't worry. There's something else that I'm working on. And I know my part small, but I'll be okay.
Just see your sisters.
What?
I used to be so scared you'd all forget about me. But I walk by the pictures of the three of you and I see me in each of you. So I know that you won't forget about me because I'm right there in all your faces.
You can never forget about you.
That's nice. When you miss me and you want to see me, just come home and see your sisters. You gotta be good to them, David. Take care of them. Be a good big brother, okay? See your sisters.
I promise I will. I'm sorry.
Nothing else matters. See
I
your
will.
sisters.
I promise.
It's very
I promise.
nothing else matters.
I promise.
You have such a big heart.
I love you.
Take care of them, okay? Because they're your little
I
sisters.
will.
Me too.
I promise. I promise.
I apologize for the sun kind of drowning out the image, but I do encourage you to go and find that movie, either at the local library or online. That scene depicts a vulnerability that I believe illustrates what James is talking about. And I'd like for you to think about this scene a little bit deeper with me for a moment. We had a son who had to pick up his naked mother off the bathroom floor because she's too sick and weak to even sit up. And then a mother who knows how her illness is affecting everyone around her, and she feels so embarrassed by it. She feels such shame about being ill, something that she can't even help. And I showed you this movie clip today to illustrate what this passage is truly about in the book of James. Because it's about being vulnerable, being open, and letting everything we feel wounded by be exposed so that we might then be embraced and loved and healed by the community of God. Illness carries shame with it, and so does sin. The word of hope that we find in the Bible today, though, is not about shame. It's not about guilt. It's not about easy fixes and instant answers. The word of hope that we hear today is about reconciliation. It's about being vulnerable enough to accept help and the love and forgiveness of God, and also the love and forgiveness of God's community. All of us. You and I, today, we have a very holy, difficult calling. A calling to be vulnerable enough to accept help, to accept the care of community, and also a holy calling to be that physical community of God on earth, to extend love, healing, prayer, and forgiveness to everyone who feels alone, isolated, cut off, unforgiven, ashamed, guilty, excluded. We are called to lift them up off the floor, to restore them to community, to pull them back into community, to a place where they'll know the powerful love of God, a place where they'll be accompanied in poor health and in good health, a place where shame and guilt are healed. Amen.